We got our third member, Nate Tapp, jumping in today. Gonna give some, I guess, some hot takes. Talk about a couple other things. Maybe talk LeBron. I guess I don't know about all that.
We
we'll
will.
see. We'll see what ends up happening in this episode. So yeah, Nate, appreciate you hopping on the show, man.
Yes, sir.
It's been a minute since you came on.
It was the bubble, bro, and
Yeah.
it's been too long.
Yeah.
And the last time I was on,
Yeah, come on.
you already know who won it all. So
I do remember that they did win it. I people will say it's the Mickey Mouse ring. I give respect to it, I guess, a little bit more. I ain't gonna go as far as say, it's the hardest ring, in the last, however many years you want to say that. I'm not gonna go there, but I still I count it as a legit ring, I guess, now after seeing it a couple years after. Yeah. But Nate, bro, before we get into the hot takes and stuff like that, I want to see, your thoughts about just, the last things that's happened, this past season, and the free agency, anything that, kind of stuck out to you.
I mean, there's been so much going on in the season. I mean, the last thing, obviously, with Dame re-signing back in Portland, that's going to be crazy to see. But I mean, the draft was really cool. I think this year's draft had a lot more, intriguing talent than last year. I feel like, or at least with Cooper Flag and Harper and some of the other guys, it'll be interesting to see how they actually play. Because I feel like last year there wasn't a ton of guys that stood out at the beginning of the season, but this year I think there probably will be. That'll be interesting. But then, yeah, just a lot of the offseason trades, really shook up the league. But it kind of seems like that happens every season now. So
yeah.
But with this year now too, I mean, with the Thunder winning it and them just getting better, it seems like it'll be interesting.
Yeah. Now, when we had Gav on here, he said, if they win it, I'm sure you saw, the clip or whatnot. He said it could be a start of a dynasty. What's your thoughts on that? And Grant, let me get your take on that too after.
I mean, they're starting by already re-signing Chet and J-Dub, so
yeah,
they definitely have hopes to become a dynasty. But we've seen in the past with the Thunder that they definitely like to trade around players, even if they have contracts, a la Paul George. But no, I think the Thunder, I mean, if Shea just keeps getting better and if they're healthy, like, they definitely could win another one. But the last 6-7 years they've had different champions, so it'll be interesting. But yeah, they definitely got a nice squad over there.
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, the Thunder did exactly what they needed to do, like in the sense that they re-signed like their big three, if you want to call it that. So like it's definitely possible. Like they definitely have the right pieces in place for it, and they still got draft picks galore. They still got a whole bunch of other assets too, to the point where like they can do it. Three-peats are just hard though. I mean, we've seen some really, really good teams come through and like, they get maybe 2 rings or something, or like in a span they'll win maybe 2 out of 5 or something like that. And that's kind of more where I see this team at. Is I don't necessarily think they're gonna go 3 in a row, 4 in a row, or anything more than that, but like they're gonna be in the conversation for the next, we'll call it, 6, 7, 8 years, because they got young guys. They just re-signed those young guys, so they're gonna have them for a while.
Yeah.
But the league's only getting better. The West is it's already going to be a dogfight.
Yeah, the West is going to be crazy every single year.
That's my whole point with it too. Is like if they were in the East, like imagine this team in the East, like they're having like that Bron 8 years in a row final run. Like that's just how it's going to go. Just because that team is so solid and they're so set up for the future. But there's so many teams coming in the West where I just don't know. And we'll get into some of my hot takes here in a little bit, but I don't think they win it next year. I think that's my overall consensus. I think that they will very much be competitive, no doubt about that. But the way the West is, like the Nuggets are hungry. We're going to see what happens with the Lakers. I mean, your Clippers, starting to maybe do something. It's going to be interesting. So I guess if we want to like clarify what a dynasty is that just winning it all? Like you have to win it all for multiple years in a row?
Yeah, because Gav was.
I'd say at least like 3 out of 5, for a dynasty. Because you think of like the Spurs, Golden State, those like the last 2, real ones we had. I think, you at least got to go, 3 for 5, 2 for 4, something like that along those lines.
Because at that point, I would say, yeah, they're a dynasty in the making. But like, I don't think we're going to see any like superstar like 3-peats or anything like that with this Thunder team. And that's not even anything like against them. The West is just getting so much better, and there's so many hungry teams there that obviously still have a very legitimate chance to win it. So I don't know. I'd say yes in the sense that yeah, they'll definitely I think get another one within the next 4 years for sure. But yeah, I don't see them winning it next year.
Yeah. Nah, I mean, plus it'll be hard too because the last 2 seasons. I mean, last year they didn't win it all, but I mean they were number one in the West. Last 2 seasons they've won like 125. I was doing quick math, 125 and 39 over the past 2 seasons. That's crazy, But I don't think that they're going to be able to replicate that going into this year. Because like you guys have said, the West is more tougher. You got Wemby and the Spurs coming up, which that could be another conversation. But you still got, like you said, the LA teams are going to be competitive. As long as Steph is there, the Warriors are going to be competitive. And some other teams, that are coming up too. So I don't know. I'm on the fence of like dynasty because I thought the same thing about Boston last year. But I just
Well, yeah, like Boston too. They had Holiday and Porzingis just because they can keep paying them, and I mean that's the thing that is going well with the Thunder is they already secured those guys and they're already so young. Like the Celtics were a little bit older, but for the next couple of years, at the Thunder, yeah, they definitely have a nice shot at winning 60 games every season like they have been.
Yeah, I think so too. Yeah. Before you get into the hot takes too, I wanted to just he said something about Nate. You mentioned Dame. Going back to Portland. What's your thoughts on that? I think personally, like home is where the heart is. Loyalty, I get it, but he's not going to win a ring. So I guess where is he going to rank himself? As like point guards. He's going to be another ringless point guard like Chris Paul, Steve Nash, and those dudes. So I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, it was definitely interesting just because for so long he didn't want to be in Portland.
Yeah.
And then he gets traded to the Bucks, which he didn't want to go to there either. But yeah, I mean, I think kind of what you said, like if he's comfortable playing there, he's already got his family there and everything like that. At this point of his career, yeah, he's not going to be that number one option. But I mean, the Trailblazers, they still got some decently young talent. I won't say that they'll, make a playoff run, but they could be a play-in team or give some teams struggle every night, especially if Dame, can come back next season. He's gonna be hurt for a little bit this year, but I mean, yeah, it's kind of at this point in his career, yeah, it just kind of seems like the place he wants to be at. But you would think he would try to like go back to Miami or like try to get at Miami again or some other team, but definitely was interesting.
Yeah, I don't think this is like a basketball move in the sense that he's going out there to like win some more rings or win a ring, I should say. Like it was more just he's at this point in his career. Like we all know, like those Steve Nash, Chris Paul. Like we still know those guys. Like those guys are still implemented in like basketball history. So it's like at this point, I think Dame is almost just kind of like accepted it, especially with his injury too. It's kind of like he knows maybe he doesn't want to be like that ring chaser and try to at least get one just by going to join some stacked team or anything. So more or less, this is him, like, I think, kind of going out the way he wants to go out. Like he said, being around his family was like the biggest priority there. He wants to kind of like have a life outside basketball still. And I think this is exactly what that was. Like, he's not going, I mean, if he gets the ring with, Portland, it'd be arguably one of the best out there, maybe of all time there. But like at this point, I think it's nothing to do with basketball. I think this is just kind of where he wanted to be back at. Like Nate was mentioning, he didn't want to be in Milwaukee, so I think it was partially because of that too. Like he was just kind of done with that landscape of things. So it's like at that point, if you're gonna go anywhere, people are gonna call you ring chase and all this, blah blah blah. So it's like, let me just go back to where like I want to go home, do my thing there, be with my family. And that's just kind of take the higher road, if you will, just say screw it. Let me just go finish out my basketball days around my family.
Yeah. Now they just gotta get CJ from the Wizards back on Portland.
Bring it back. Yep, bring it back.
They just get all the old Trailblazers from that team.
I could definitely see that happening, and I could see Tamani Kamara, young guy. I could see him being like the Rodney Hood, type of dude. So
I wrote this down too because I had heard some rumors too that Drew Holiday too, they might want to ship him out somewhere else. So it'd be interesting to see if Portland ends up sending him to a contender or somewhere back in the East where he's back on a team where he can actually compete. Because I mean, back when it's not like when he was on Boston, he was really declining at all. So I don't think Portland's really going to want to keep that contract either.
Yeah, they got two bad contracts. His and they still got Jeremy Grant too, which we all know about that. So that's a terrible contract right there.
But I definitely do not think Holiday will stay at the start of the season on that team. I don't know what team would want him, but I definitely think there's a way for him to find a better option.
Yeah, that's tricky. Real quick, I'll just say because that's tricky. Like the point guard market, I'd say because you still got like Chris Paul is still a free agent. Russ, he's still a free agent. Drew Holiday, he on the fence. Anthony Simons, he got traded to Boston. I don't think he's going to be there at the start of the season. So like I think there's still some things that have been gonna work itself out. But now it's just like the dead period. So I don't know. It might just happen like one random day in August or something like that. So we'll see. All right, let's get to these hot takes. Who wanna start first?
I can go. Don't matter to me. I can go. All right, so we all know about the Philadelphia 76ers. Sean, one of your favorite players of all time, is actually residing there right now. Hot take. This is a very hot take because I can see it happening. Do I think it happens? We'll find out, of course. But I personally think that the 76ers are going to have a bounce back year. I think they're going to be actually really solid. I think that they're going to finish top 3 in the East, and I think it's going to be led by Tyrese Maxey being in top 3 for MVP conversation here.
Wow.
I do. This is a very hot take here. I think Tyrese Maxey has already proven that he's a very gifted athlete so far in this league. And I'm curious to see when Embiid comes back and he's maybe got more pick and roll, another kind of guy to lean on. I think his numbers are just going to go through the roof there. And with the East already being relatively pretty weak, I can see him sliding into that top 3 position there. We'll see what happens with Paul George. That's the biggest question mark with it too. But I can see it happening. That's all I'll say.
Wow. Do we want to get into that, or because my hot take can kind of rival that one because it's about a different team?
Yeah, we can just kind of talk about them all.
I don't like saying this because they eliminated my Pistons, but I think the Knicks will be the clear front runner in the East this season. And because you said the Maxey thing, maybe I'll just say maybe Brunson will be a top 3 in the MVP conversation.
I could
now, because you're saying, the East, it's kind of a toss-up every single year, it seems like. But, with the Sixers, they got a lot of question marks with PG, Embiid. Embiid had surgery over the summer. I do think Maxey will have to be that guy for them. Now, they do got McCain coming back. They got some other young guys on the team. But the Knicks, I think, if they keep their team together, they already picked up some key off-season pieces in Clarkson. And who was the other guy they got for Yabusele? Hiring Mike Brown, I think, will kind of energize that team too. But Brunson, Tart, Bridges, those guys, just another year playing together, I think, will be a clear 1 seed, hopefully.
I wanna break this down before.
Yeah. Because I wasn't even gonna go that high, but then Brett threw in the Maxey MVP, and
it's a hot take. This is a hot take.
I kind of like low key kind of agree with both of y'all takes. I definitely think the Knicks are gonna be. I think they're gonna be the 1 seed in the East this next year. Them returning most of their lineup. Mike Brown, I think he will thrive in his first year. I think they'll be good with that because we're actually going to see more of like the Knicks of their lineup. We're not going to see the same 6 guys, like Tibbs was playing for the past 3-4 years. And I think they'll be better than the Cavs. Now, Grant's the Sixers, I agree with it. But at the same time, like you said, it's really on PG and Embiid, their health. But the Maxey, I don't know if we can put him MVP, top 3 MVP because
here's even top 5 point guard.
Oh,
I'm telling you, I think genuinely, the season he's going to have to even get to what I'm saying here to get them to that top 3 seed is he's going to have to be putting up insane numbers. Now, we'll say even to stretch it out a little bit, we'll go top 5 MVP conversation. I think it's a valid argument to a point where if you do have Embiid who actually can stay healthy, because again, that's the biggest question. PG.
So Embiid is healthy though. Maxey's getting MVP over Embiid.
Yeah, because I don't think Embiid already this late. Late into his career here with how many surgeries and everything he's had going on. I just don't think he can be the guy that's dropping, the 31 points, whatever he did when he actually won his MVP. And I think we're kind of seeing last year, Maxey was already taking it to a whole new level there. Plus, I think Jared McCain's going to do fantastic this year. I think he's going to have a really good year, averaging a solid 15, 16, or so off the bench there or starting, depending on how they want to kind of play things. But I think
because also they drafted Edgecombe too, so he's gonna have to be sharing shots with him as well.
Yeah, but Maxey's just that dog. He's already proven it. That's why, I like the facts over the what could be.
That is a hot take. It kind of coincides with my hot take because my first hot take is Cade Cunningham will be in the MVP race. I think he's going to be a top 5 and an MVP race. I think so. I think we saw it last year. Averaging 26, 9, 6. He's going to take that leap. I think this year, the Pistons. You could rate their offseason, say what you want to say, but I think he's ready to take that next leap. I think he's going to be right there, in the top 5 point guard conversation, with Brunson, Luka, Shea, like those guys. I don't know, like, what their seed will be, but I just think that, Cade will be, top 5 in the MVP discussion this year.
We got to be a 5 seed. Pistons got to be a 5 seed if he's getting near that.
Yeah.
I think they'll be higher than that, to be honest. I think they'll be upwards of like the 3-4 range right there.
Yeah.
Possibly.
But yeah, I mean, Cade's only going to get better, especially you don't got to deal with Halliburton in the East either this season. You don't got to deal with Tatum. So there's definitely opportunities for him to make a push for it.
Yeah. Now I don't know about that Maxey one.
That was a little crazy.
That was a spicy one. I like it though. I like it.
I had to bring in some
give me your yeah, I like it. Nate, give me a second one.
Okay, this one I don't really know why I thought about this one, but I think that Memphis could be a playoff team this year. Okay, no response.
I think they could be. I think
I know they've had a weird offseason. They got rid of Bane. Ja. He's always in the media for some reason. Probably not in a good way, but I mean, they fired their head coach last year. Everything is not looking good in Memphis. But if Ja is really that guy who he was back in 2021, and before all the stuff went down with him, then I think their team could actually put together a run. Last season, their younger guys stepped up a little bit more too, so they don't just have to rely on Ja. But I mean, the West is tough. So there's really only going to be a few times for them to be able to get some big wins, I think, this season. But there's a lot of different teams where I feel like you could say that too.
I mean, yeah, I could see him making that play-in game, and then getting most likely, in my opinion, probably the 8 seed there. I mean, if we count play-in as making playoffs, like I could see it 100%. But yeah, I mean, thinking about it now, I don't know. It'll be tough because I could see him getting that play-in, but I don't know if they actually get past that. That's a good take there. I don't know. It'd be interesting to see what Ja. I mean, we've already seen what Ja can do. Ja has been proven to be that dude. Can he take a team with maybe less assets than he's had before? I mean, we still got obviously Jaren Jackson and stuff, but it's like, yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, that's the other thing too. They doubled down this offseason paying Jaren, so
yeah,
he's due for another big season. I know he didn't have the season he wanted last year, but I think Memphis too. I mean, they got KCP. He needs a bounce back year, so they got a lot of guys I think that have stuff to prove. But I mean, the West is really tough.
Yeah,
probably will be a bad take in about 8 months.
I got them like right now. I see them like as a fringe like playing team. So it'll be interesting to see like you said, how it can Ja stay healthy. I think is the number one thing for them.
And not get suspended.
Yeah, not get suspended. That's another thing. When he's healthy and not suspended, he's out there. They're one of the top teams. But I just
no more celebrations. No more 3-point celebrations. Just straight buckets from Ja. That's all we need.
We'll see. I do like the bombs away though. That's one of the celebrations I see now. I like that.
You got
Sean, you're gonna hate this one. Nate, you're gonna love this one.
Okay.
I'm telling you, if LeBron James does stay with that Lakers squad this year, they making the NBA Finals. They making the finals.
I literally have on here Lakers finals contenders.
They are making the finals. Like if LeBron stays there, you already got DeAndre Ayton. I love that signing there. I mean, him and Luka gonna be throwing lobs. It's gonna be Lob City again. And then his whole kind of part of this whole second half of his career has all been about more or less like the shooting numbers from outside. So if he can just continue to just get that built up there, I'm telling you, this Lakers team is still solid. I mean, AR-15, solid. Obviously, I think Luka, now he's actually had a half season to kind of, go through the Lakers, and then now we'll have a full season with them. I'm telling you, I think this team's going to have a lot better chemistry than they did last year. I think last year, especially just speaking on Luka specifically, I think it was a bombshell, obviously for him and all of us, that he actually got traded from the Mavs. So the fact that he'll actually have he's had time to process everything. He's had time to actually get with these Lakers guys, figure out their tendencies, do everything with that. See, Bron is Bron at the end of the day, Sean. I know you hate it, but that's the goat right there. I mean, that's what he do. So it's I'm serious. I think this team, I think they finally do it with this year.
Talk to him, Grant.
Thank you.
So hey, I got to add to this one too, because
go ahead.
I think even if the Lakers don't make the finals, I think LeBron. I think this is his last year playing. I think
you got one more. You got one more after this.
You think either this one, but I think this one because Chris Paul's retiring after this year. That's his boy. He's golfing now. LeBron's went on social media way too much this summer to not. I've never seen him post this much since he was in Miami. That's how you know that he's getting ready to hang him up. So, but yes, I think the Lakers, because there's no way LeBron is playing 2 seasons with Ayton either. I feel like he's only got 1 year in him to play with Ayton. If Ayton is not on his shit, he's gone. Excuse my language, but that was another question, because Ayton, yes, he's a good signing, but if he's not on it with LeBron and AR and Luka, they're not going to make it. But too, I mean, he already got Bronny in the league. There's no way he's playing with Bryce. He'd be 44.
Yeah,
yeah, he'd be old.
He'd be way too old. But nah, I like that take, Grant. That's a good one.
So I was going to not use this as a hot take, but since you brought that up, I'm going to use it as a hot take now. The Lakers will not win a championship with LeBron James on the team. Here's my thoughts.
They already did.
Yeah, so you mean another one?
Yeah. They will not win another one. For if he plays this year or next year, we'll see. I just don't think. Here's my thing. Yes, the Lakers, him and Luka and AR-15, last year, it looks nice. It looks pretty. As a basketball fan, it's kind of cool to see. But from a standpoint as being realistic, I just don't see how the fit can take them far into the playoffs, because they are the exact same. I'm not going to say exact same player, but same type of player, right? You need certain players around LeBron James, shooters, rebounders, and maybe, a nice ball handler. Okay. You need the same thing around Luka: defense, shooters, and rebounders. Now, we saw when he went to the finals 2 years ago, that was his best team that he's ever had around him, and that was defense, shooting, and then he had Kyrie, bunch of lob threats and everything like that. The Lakers nowhere close to that. I mean, you lost your best defender this year in DFS, so now you're gonna ask who? Rui to play defense, and is Luka gonna play some defense? I don't think so. How much more defense is LeBron gonna play? Yeah, we all know about his chase down blocks and stuff like that, but if you're asking LeBron to give you, all right, let's say 65, 70 games, playing 35 minutes a game, you really think that's gonna, carry over to, we talking about April, May, June for a deep run? I don't think so. So I think, and DeAndre Ayton, I know y'all Laker fans, it was a nice signing, but it doesn't scare anybody. And this isn't me speaking as a Clippers fan. It's just as a basketball fan, I don't, DeAndre Ayton's nice, but I just it doesn't move me, and I don't think it moves the needle. So I don't know.
Harsh words from just a basketball fan. It seems like more than just a basketball fan.
This is personal. This is personal now for a Clippers fan.
I mean, your questions are valid, I feel like, but you saw what Luka did in the finals.
Yeah.
With Dallas, it's not like that team had all the shooting in the world.
Right.
And we've seen what LeBron has done in the past with less.
Way less.
Yeah, but that's not this LeBron though. This ain't Cleveland, and they're in the West too. That's the thing. If this team was in the East, I'd agree with y'all 100%. I'd say yes. They're probably the favorites next year to win it over OKC. But I can't, just in the Western Conference. I don't even think this team currently constructed is a top 5 team in the West. That's just
just wait till they get Malik Beasley, and some other shooters.
On a minimum, too.
On a minimum. And then when at the deadline, they're, 35 and 15. sitting around the 2-3 seed.
I personally I agree with what you're saying about Ayton though. Like I agree. Like I don't think it's like a crazy needle mover necessarily, but like my whole thing that I think takes this squad to the next level is like I think we're gonna get like a way better version of Luka this year. I think he's
locked
finally in. I think he'll just kind of just because again, like I said, he was probably shell shocked last year with the whole trade thing, and like I don't think he was the same player that he could have been. I just think now he's actually had time to process it. The dude slimmed down a whole lot now. I mean, we see it with every superstar, but like he slimmed down. I think we're gonna get probably one of the better Lukas we've seen since like
he's only like 26.
Yeah, I think it's gonna be one of the like that finals run, Luka. Like I think that's what we're gonna get. That's the thing. Like I know you mentioned Bron's like he's getting older and all that, but like he's not gonna have to do what that Miami, Cleveland Bron was doing. Like he's just, I mean, he's got to be again like that guy. If Luka does go, sit down for a little bit, or Luka's got to be the guy, vice versa. There, but like, still think they complement each other so well because they see the floor so well. Like you can still get away with having some of these like necessarily like worst guys on the court and still get the open shot.
I mean, I guess I don't know. I think there's 3 teams in a tier above the Lakers: KC, Denver, and Houston. I think those 3 teams clear, are the top 3 in the West right now. You can sort out however you want to rank them or whatnot. And then, yeah, I mean, you had a good point. LeBron's not going to be asked to do as much, but he's still going to be your third option because you got Luka 1. You put AR-15 as 2. I know you're not asking DeAndre Ayton to be your third option because if that's the case, then you're not getting out the second round, So I'm just saying, I don't know. It'll be interesting to see what they do, but I just think as long as LeBron is on the Lakers,
I think Reeves is the second option.
Yeah, Reeves is the second option. But who's going to be your third option?
LeBron James.
Luka and LeBron are 1A, 1B, and then Reeves. That's all you need. And then they're gonna have a knockdown shooter. Someone who's going to surprise you. Let me look at the roster right now.
I don't know who's going to surprise me. And if you say Gabe Vincent, I might crash out right here.
No, I mean, we've seen enough of Gabe Vincent last season.
Yeah, all these Miami guys, we're good. We've seen what happens.
But yeah, I mean, Ayton, Dalton Connect, and Rui, and also, Gabe Vincent. They're on their last straw if they don't play well this season with the Lakers.
Yeah.
Because, too, with the Lakers having new ownership, it's going to be actually interesting to see if they, by the deadline, do end up trading any of these guys because they want to, proceed more with Luka rather than LeBron. If they already know LeBron's not going to play 3 more years, But
True.
The NBA, so all these guys are getting traded every single day now that it's like.
Well, I think the Luka that Luka trade, it basically nobody knows anything these days. Anything can happen any day of the week. So I respect that. That's a good point. They could upgrade the roster, trade, a whole bunch of players. I saw some stuff, they were trying to get Andrew Wiggins or whatnot. I saw that a couple weeks ago. I don't think that really, helps them or moves the needle again. But I guess if you're, trading Andrew Wiggins and upgrading him for, maybe Rui or Gabe Vincent, I mean, I guess, but
I'd take that. But yeah, I agree with you on that. Doesn't do anything like crazy. It's not a major move, but it's a step in the right direction.
Yeah. I got one more hot take, and this is, I don't know, you could say this is a spicy one or whatnot. The Spurs, good team, young with Wemby and everything like that. I don't think they're gonna make the playoffs though. I think they're still a little bit too young.
Not even play in.
I think they lose in the play-in. I think they lose in the play-in, but the playoffs don't make it. They're still a young team. I got Wemby. He's gonna probably average like 25, 10, and 6, maybe something along that line, with like 2-3 blocks. But I don't trust De'Aaron Fox. Wow. And, I like Stephon Castle. I like what they got this year in Carter Bryant. But I don't know. And plus they got a new coach too. So it'll be interesting to see. I think they won't make the playoffs.
They had that coach last season too.
I mean, yeah, but he was the intern. So I don't know. But I got them missing the playoffs. The Pelicans making the playoffs with Zion being, an All-NBA player this year.
Interesting. I had that written down too. Can Zion and Jordan Poole actually do anything this season? Because
I think so.
I mean, you think they'll make the playoffs over the Spurs, though? That is a hot take.
See, I don't agree with that. I think they'll be actually better than we think. The Pelicans have talked about. I think Zion will be much better. I think Jordan Poole will have a bounce back year, but like the Spurs are still just so like I know they're young, but like they have talent though. Like they're solid. So it's like
and they just got Dylan Harper too.
Yeah, and Dylan Harper. Yeah,
I'd be shocked if they did at least like get the 8 seed at the bare minimum. Like, I think that's like the worst that they could do. Even in like I get it, I get the West is stacked. We've talked about it all day, but like I mean, Wemby's going to be a different animal coming at it this year. I mean, I think him and De'Aaron Fox are going to be lethal. I think they're going to, because I mean, again, injuries were kind of, held them back from even potentially getting to that play in last year. So it's like, you just take, I mean, again, injuries are one thing. We could talk about that, but like, for injuries aside, I think without that, like, this team is a lock for an 8 seed at least.
yeah. I don't know. I think I see them as high as like 6, as low as like 11. So they could fall anywhere in between there. So I could see them, being a top 6 team and not have to play the play in. But I think if they get to the play in, I just don't know if they'll be able to win that play-in game and then go on, to the actual playoffs. So I don't know.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair.
What's y'all got any more? Y'all got any more hot takes?
I got not necessarily a hot take at all, actually. Sean, I don't know, you might like the second part of it, but you'll probably hate the first part of it. I think the Clippers are going to be exactly who we thought they were, in the sense that we're going to get a lot of doubtfuls, a lot of the, day to days, a lot of outs. However, with that being said, I actually think you guys are going to be pretty solid in the West. I have you guys the top 6 team for sure. I originally put 5 down, but it's I don't know. Actually, I'm gonna stick to my top 5. I'm gonna have you all the top 5 for the West. I think
Still on the roster.
Nah, Ben's
no. So hyped up about it.
Yeah, you got.
I was.
But no, I mean, I think again, I mean, all joking aside, I actually do think that it's going to be the exact same thing as Clippers for the past however many years you want to call it, Sean. You gotta stay healthy. If we're healthy, we win. That's I think I told you to get that tattooed because you said it probably a million times now.
Yeah.
If we're healthy, we do good, but we'll see. Because I mean, like at the end of the day, Bradley Beal's a solid signing there. So yeah, it's not bad though. That's the thing. If he can actually stay healthy with that squad, I'm curious to see what they do. James running point. I would imagine Beal at like the 2, and then obviously like Kawhi. We already kind of know what we're gonna get from him. Kawhi is nice, as much as I like to shit on him, but he's actually pretty solid. So it's like this team is gonna be good. I mean, Zubac has always been like that guy. I will say, like, he's not like you know exactly what you're gonna get from Zubac. He's not.
Yeah.
He doesn't have too many bad games. He's not gonna do anything crazy. He's not gonna drop 30 or nothing like that.
Lakers should have never traded him.
Because I will give Zubac a lot of credit. He does a lot for that team that I think goes maybe unnoticed at times. So I think you guys will be solid though. Not necessarily a hot take, just a take in general. I think you guys will be top 5 in the West.
Yeah, Sean, we were seeing some guys on the Lakers who got to have a good season. Who were some guys on the Clippers? Because I have a few that I could name, but I want to know who you think.
Guys that have to have a good season. I think Zubac right out the gate. Last year at the end of the year, he was making the defensive play of the year push. I think this year it's going to be right there. So yeah, I think he has to be good. Derek Jones Jr., depending on what kind of role he plays, I think he has to contribute a little bit. And I'm interested to see how Brook Lopez kind of fits in the mix. Like, yeah, he's a good backup big, but I'm not sure like how I guess you'll kind of split that up, especially with the addition of John Collins. So it'd be really interesting to see, and plus, like, if they can be another good defensive team, because everybody said, about Beal not being good defensively or whatnot, and Kawhi, you're only going to get about, 50, 60 games from him anyways. So, yeah, it's just, I think it's more of like a team collective effort, more than like guys stepping up, because you're going to get from James, what you're going to get from Bradley Beal. When Kawhi plays, what you're going to get from him. I think it's more or less like, who's going to step up when, the scoring is down or when defense is needed, things like that. So, yeah.
We going to the Intuit Dome this year?
No, I'm trying. I want to go to take a trip to Intuit, bro.
Balling out, going to the Intuit. That would be sick.
That would be hype. That would be hype. Yeah, I would like that.
Get on the wall or whatever they call it.
Yeah, bro. Yeah. We live stream that too. Be there live.
No, that would be hype.
That would be sick.
Hype. Y'all would have to wear Clippers gear to be allowed in the wall, though. Like, I'll vibe.
I'm out. I'm out. I'm out.
Fair.
Just see me with the Brown jersey on.
Respect it. I respect it. Yeah, nah. But yeah, so I think it'll be a collective effort. We should might have to look into that, bro. Balling out, making it out to Intuit or something like that. That'd be
Like,
Nate, you got any more hot takes or anything like that?
Not really. The only ones I thought about really were like, will the Suns be trash this season?
yeah.
After giving Booker all this money and
Yeah.
I still hear rumors. I don't know if they're gonna keep Jalen Green. I think they will, but how will he play this year? They got some the rookie Malawatch. How's he gonna play? They just got a lot of guys on that team that kind of got to prove themselves, but they were in the finals a couple years ago, and now it's like, are they rebuilding? Are they, still around Booker? But that was the other one. And then I had one too was who do you think is going to win MVP, and will it be Anthony Edwards?
That's a good question.
Yeah, no, that is a good question. Here's the thing with Anthony Edwards, and I think this is the same thing with Luka when he was on the Mavs. It really depends on like how good, like you said, Cade, like the Pistons got to be like a top 5 team. I think honestly, that's what the Timberwolves have to do. Last year they were kind of like up and down, but it was because of injuries. Julius was in and out. Mike Conley, he was in. Dante, he was trying to find his fit or whatnot. They weren't like a top 4 team, consistently throughout the year. Edwards is a good player, and a great all around player. I think it just really depends on can his team hold up their end of the bargain per se. Same thing as like, Luka. Like I thought for years like Luka was I thought like his second year in the league, Luka was gonna win MVP, like clear favorite, and I still think he can, but I think, now it's up to, and the narrative changes every year, but it's more of like team success than like individual success. It changes, year in and year out. So I don't know. I think he can be an MVP player. I don't think he will win it this year. I think I'm gonna just give a hot take somewhat. I think this year's MVP is going to be Giannis. I think they're gonna give it back to him, just because they're gonna say, hey, look, especially if they're like a top 6 team in the East, I think they're gonna give it to him because you look at this supporting cast and it's absolutely no one. I think you're going to argue the same thing about how Jokic, Russell Westbrook, those guys, how it was literally just only them. I think, Giannis is going to be like in that same conversation. He's going to give you about 30, 12. Maybe his assists go up a little bit this year. But that's like my early pick for MVP right now. So,
yeah, actually, I like that. I'll just give 2 other ones because he wasn't my first choice, but he was definitely up there in top 3 for me. We've already talked about, I think Luka has got a shot at it this year. I genuinely do. I think he's got a really good shot if he can stay healthy, stay on the court a whole bunch. We'll obviously we'll kind of see what he produces there, but I think he's got a good shot. And then actually, I didn't mind Nate when you were saying like Jalen Brunson. I think he's a sneaky candidate up there too. Like, do I think he wins it? Not, he wouldn't be like my favorite, but like I think he's got a legitimate chance. If he can take this Knicks team, like get the number 1 seed, since you were kind of talking about like team success, I can kind of see him leaning that direction too. Because he's going to have the stats to back it up. He was one of the clutchest players last year. Like if he can keep doing that, he's got a good argument. But I do like the Giannis one as well. In my opinion, I think it'll be Luka. I think it's his time to shine, and I think with the team he's got now, I think he's going to be averaging damn near double-double, 28, 29, even 30 points with 9, 10 assists.
He's gonna have a triple double.
And he might. I mean, shoot, we might be looking at like 8, 9 boards. He can get up to 10. I mean, call that a triple.
He could. I think it'll be real weird though. I mean, when have you ever seen LeBron? I mean, we've seen him play with former MVPs, but to actually like have like an MVP candidate, and somebody else on his team other than himself winning the MVP, I think that's another storyline too. That would be kind of crazy because we've never kind of seen that before. So I don't know. I think I think he definitely will be up there. I think for sure. Especially now that he's in LA. His name will be more in the spotlight. So I think for sure he'll probably, I would be surprised unless he gets hurt again, this year. I would be surprised if he's not, in the final top 4 for the voting. So I don't know. Yeah, we'll see. Last thing before we go, I wanted to ask you, guys, what is a player or a team you're buying some stock into next year?
See, you already disagree, but I'm telling you, I'm buying stock in the Spurs. Not necessarily because I think they're going to do anything crazy, but like I'm jumping on the ship before the ship touches, land. I think they're going to do something there, and I think this is like we're going to see like kind of the tower being built. I think we're going to see something special with this team the next 3-4 years. I'm buying stock into them because I want to see what Wemby does. I genuinely think Wemby has got the talent to be defensive player of the year and MVP at some point. And so I want to get in there early before it's all written in the sand.
Yeah, I feel it. Nate, what about you?
I will buy stock, and I guess since I made a hot take, I'll buy stock in Memphis, just a little bit, not a lot. And I guess trying to think of other teams. I mean, it kind of surprised me. Pelicans, but I'd probably buy stock too in a team like, Portland with Dame being back on the team. They'll at least maybe be better. I know he's not going to play all this year, but
yeah,
the West is crazy though. So teams in the East, I think the Hawks should be better this year.
Yep.
I know a lot of teams probably are going to be looking at them as tough out in the East now this year. The Pistons, hopefully they continue to build on what they're doing.
Yeah, for sure.
But yeah, I do really like how there's just been so many more teams now that are, competitive. And just a lot more secondary players, it seems like, that are kind of making a name for themselves now. I feel like there was a while in the NBA where it's kind of just like you really only needed two or three guys on your team. But now, you're seeing with the Thunder, they got a full, 9-10 man squad rolling every game. So, but yeah, I do like the Lakers though too. Give me all the Lakers stop.
100%.
Well, we knew that. That's obvious. You mentioned the Hawks. They're a team I'm buying stock into this year. I think with the moves that they made this year, I think they got Porzingis fell into their lap. If he can stay healthy, I think they could be possibly a top 5 team, in the East, right behind New York, Cleveland, Detroit, Orlando. So they're a team that I'm definitely watching out for and buying some stock into. And plus they got Naw too, so I like that a lot. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see if Trae Young can finally have a team that's better than barely 500 or 500. So that he hasn't had since he made that East Conference Finals run. Yeah, nah. But yeah, so that's all we got for you guys. Appreciate everyone tuning in. Ball Out Podcast. You can find us on Spotify, podcasts, YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, all of it. But until then, we'll catch you guys next time.
Yes, sir.